On Global Television News Express, INEC presents certificate of returns to Soludo and Deputy. In business, President Tinubu pushes Siemens deal for fresh 400,000 megawatts power. On the foreign scene, Trump threatens boycott for striking air traffic controllers. And in sports, 18 players hit Super Eagles camp ahead of World Cup playoff with Gabon. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ubong Usoro. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. The Independent National Electoral Commission has issued certificates of return to the Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo and his deputy Onyeka Chukwu Ibezim. The certificates were presented to them by the supervising INEC National Commissioner in charge of Anambra State election, Kenneth Ikegu, in Awka, 2 days after Soludo and his deputy were declared winners of the poll. The issuance of the certificates of return has officially confirmed Soludo and Ibezim as the re-elected governor and deputy governor of Anambra State. Tensions flared in Abuja as military officers reportedly stopped the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, from accessing a disputed piece of land located under high-tension power lines. The incident occurred after officials of the Development Control Department had earlier attempted to demolish structures on the site, but were warded up by soldiers stationed there. Kabir Hassan has details.
I am a small boy, but the commission of planning is
The military had previously vowed to resist any further action on the land, claiming ownership and threatening consequences against anyone who returned to carry out development control orders. Officials of the FCT administration, however, insisted that all lands within the territory remains under its jurisdiction and that enforcement will continue in line with the Abuja Master Plan. Dialogue is now expected.
We'll keep tabs with that story and we'll bring you more developments as it continues to unfold. The federal government says it is intensifying efforts to strengthen Nigeria's primary health care system and reduce the country's high disease burden. This was the focus of discussions at the 6th Annual Legislative Summit on Health held in Abuja. Health correspondent Zara Nazir reports.
Stakeholders across Nigeria's health sector converged in Abuja to chart a new course for revitalizing the country's primary health care system, a key step toward achieving universal health coverage. Delivering the keynote address, Dr. Kabiru Atta expressed concern that only 4% of primary health care workers are fully active, as many Nigerians continue to bypass local facilities. He emphasized the need to make primary health centers the first point of medical contact, especially during emergencies.
I realized that the woman with fistula requires several services. She requires social rehabilitation, medical rehabilitation, and then back to the community, nutrition services, physiotherapy services. But at no point in time could you know where that woman was and what services she needed. And that's why we decided to work with the Federal Ministry of Health to set up what we call a fistula tracker system.
Also speaking, Chika Ofo of the Vaccine Network for Disease Control disclosed that only 25% of vaccination funds for 2024 were released, a shortfall. She undermines the delivery of essential health services.
So for Nigeria, in my experience, I've come to realize that to budget is very easy. So if you say you want to budget that vaccines funding or health funding should be 1 trillion, very easy. The funding. The problem is in the release.
Participants at the summit called for increased funding, improved staffing, and stronger legislative backing to reposition Nigeria's primary health care system as the foundation of effective health delivery. Experts say Nigeria's journey toward a healthier population depends on sustained investment and political will to make primary health care accessible and reliable for all citizens. Zahra Nasr, reporting for Global TV News.
The Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, says the Southeast is now benefiting from President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. He made this known while inaugurating the Renewed Hope Partners in Abia State, where he listed major federal interventions in infrastructure, energy, agriculture, and education across the region. National Assembly correspondent Anietia Patrick now reports.
At Ukwa West in Abia State, supporters gathered as Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu kicked off the inauguration of Renewed Hope Partners across the state's 17 local government areas. Kalu told the crowd that Southeast is beginning to feel what he described as intentional inclusion by President Bola Tinubu's administration. The Deputy Speaker reeled out key federal projects, including the establishment of the Southeast Development Commission, the revival of the Port Harcourt-Maiduguri rail line, and new gas pipeline infrastructure across the region. He also highlighted the compressed natural gas initiative, which he said could save Nigeria 2 trillion naira monthly in fuel imports.
Mr. President said, I love Okwa people. I want to develop Okwa people more. Go and tell them that I love them. Who the Super President? We love you, Mr.
On agriculture, Kalu said the federal government has allocated land in Abia, Ebonyi, and Enugu for its 10 million hectare food security program, with fertilizer and mechanized equipment already being distributed. He added that Southeast students have so far received over 45 billion naira in federal student loans.
And the law, and always in the interest of integrity, solidarity, well-being, and prosperity, strive to preserve the objectives of Renewed Hope Partners.
So far, the Renewed Hope Partners have been launched in Ukwa East, Ukwa West, Ugwanabo, Osisioma, and Obingwa. Kalu says the next phase will be the creation of Renewed Hope Councils in every local government aligned with the Southeast Development Commission. Anietie Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Environmentalists have called on the federal government to increase investment in green and renewable energy. This was at the 6th Annual Legislative Summit on Climate, Environment and Sustainable Health held recently in Abuja. Our correspondent reports.
The chairman of the National Agency for the Great Green Wall, Senator Magnus Abe, represented by Honorable Maureen Maremu, said the government must adequately prepare health workers for emerging challenges through improved administrative and management skills. He noted that there is a close link between health and climate, calling for stronger legislation and greater investment in green energy across health facilities.
So this forum, therefore, should not just merely be a dialogue thing. We should grow beyond this dialogue thing. We should talk about wise legislation and to see how we must put these things to good use.
In his keynote address, Dr. Alex Chimbaru, the deputy country representative of the World Health Organization, speaking on the topic Accelerating Climate Health Resilience, said that climate change and its impact can no longer be ignored. He called for increased investment in climate-smart solutions, noting that the World Health Organization has implemented solar power projects in Akwa Ibom and Rivers State as pilot initiative.
These challenges demand bold leadership and coordinated action across sectors. The good thing we have people who matter in this room. The legislators, the Senate, partners are all present today.
Also speaking, Rita Michael Ojo, the executive secretary of the Nigerian Environment Summit Group, said that the issues of environmental degradation can no longer be neglected, stressing that Nigeria must urgently confront the challenges of degradation, climate change, and global warming.
Building resilience from policy to practical sustainability. Nigeria loses over $100 billion annually to the impacts of climate change.
Participants at the summit emphasized the need for collaboration between policymakers, the private sector, and development partners to drive sustainable energy solutions.
A private store of the brand new Museum of West African Arts, also called MOWA, in Benin City has been interrupted by protesters suspending the official opening schedule for Tuesday, November 11 until further notice. While the protesters' demands are not clear, the museum's founder Philip Iheanacho alleged that the demonstrators were aligned with the palace of the Oba of Benin, the city's traditional ruler, who many believe should be in charge of the museum. Uyi Agbomofwegbe has the rest of the story.
Philip Iheanacho is the founder of Museum of West African Arts. He says what had been scheduled to take place on Sunday, 9th of November 2025 was a private visit, which was disrupted right in the middle of the tour.
What happened today is that we had people protesters who came in and started vandalizing some of the welcome pavilion, which is where we have visitors, and then broke into the front where the exhibition area is. So we had to move people across to the rest of the museum. The unfortunate thing is that this was not a commissioning. This is not an official commissioning at all. This was just a preview of our first exhibition.
This video, posted by Chief Press Secretary to Edo State Governor Fred Itwa earlier on Monday, shows a delegation he described as ambassadors of European countries who had accompanied the state governor to the palace of the Oba of Benin. The Museum of West African Arts was launched 5 years ago by Iheanacho, a Nigerian businessman in Benin City, Edo State, with the support of the state's former governor, Godwin Obaseki. Uyi Agbomofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, Tinubu pushes Siemens deal for fresh 4,000 megawatts power. Details coming shortly, plus business in foreign stories on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us. In business, President Bola Tinubu has assured the technical contractor handling the Presidential Power Initiative, Siemens Energy, of the government's full commitment to improving the country's electricity supply and enhancing the livelihoods of its citizens. This was disclosed in a statement issued by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, which also revealed the government's push for the generation of fresh 4,000 megawatts of power. At the meeting at the State House with a delegation from Siemens Energy, led by Managing Director for Middle East and Africa, Diatman Siadorfe, President Tinubu noted that the power sector remains central to stimulating the economy, particularly in the industrial, educational, and healthcare sectors. The Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, has said that the bill for an act on national digital economy and e-governance would be signed into law when passed by the National Assembly this week. Dr. Tijani stated this during a public hearing organized by the Joint Committee on Internet Communication and Technology and Cybersecurity. Topsy Gimba has details.
Dr. Bosun Tijani said that President Bola Tinubu was passionate about the bill and ready to sign into law following its economic value. Dr. Tijani said when the law becomes operational, the country will be looking at $1 trillion economy annually. He disclosed that because of its importance, the committee had to go around the 36 states of the country, including FCT, to gather inputs.
If we're able to allow Nigeria to rise, the rest of Africa will rise. And the leadership we're seeing on display today and over the past month and the last 2 years.
He noted that the Tinubu-led administration is laying about 90,000 communication fibers across rural communities in the country to stimulate the digital economy.
As a government, we've chosen the path of deepening infrastructure, not doing the cheap things, but investing in the foundational infrastructure, but also policies that will open up our economy and get us to where we need to be as a nation.
Earlier, the chairman Senate Committee on Internet Communication and Technology ICT and Cybersecurity, Senator Shaibu Afolabi Salisu APC Ogun, said the bill, when signed into law, will address key objectives in the digital economy where e-transaction will be treated like analog transactions.
This bill, for the first time in this country, will have what we call national data exchange, meaning that same citizen who has obtained his passport from the Ministry of Interior, that same citizen can benefit from government largesse in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Many paper submissions were made by stakeholders in support of the bill.
In the bill, we actually note that multiple agencies are assigned overlapping roles under the bill. And on this, we believe that to enhance coordination and policy coherence, we recommend the creation of a National Digital Economy Council, which we are proposing that should be chaired by the Vice President in order to harmonize mandates and reduce duplication.
The committee chairman assures stakeholders that the bill will be laid at the chamber for consideration for passage this week. Topsy Gimba reporting for Global Television News.
Millions of Nigerians have continued to grapple with unpleasant situations, including persons living with disabilities, leading to displacement from their ancestral homes. Many in Benue State have been forced to seek refuge in internally displaced persons camps, surviving on the mercy and goodwill of spirited individuals, corporate bodies, and humanitarian organizations. Our correspondent Felicity Ndere takes a look at the plight of internally displaced persons at the Makurdi International Market and ongoing efforts to improve their livelihoods. The report.
Makurdi International Market serves as temporary refuge for hundreds of internally displaced persons, including victims of the June 13 Yelwata attack and other shelters scattered across the state. For these individuals, daily survival depends largely on humanitarian support from government agencies, non-governmental organizations, and generous citizens.
We will select few of the IDP that are most interested in learning fashion. We will train them. We will do our need assessment while we are here on camp.
Many say life would be easier if they were empowered to become self-reliant and provide for their families.
First and foremost, I came here with tears, but now it seems like the tears are drying small.
We are so appreciative to you people to bring us assistance, to you to come and sew us clothes freely. You cannot even demand anything to us. You can just even choose yourself to come and give us assist. And then we are so happy for that. If anybody will have and more assist to come and support us here, and then we are so pleased to him that God should touch him to come and help us more.
I thank these people. They help me to sew clothes.
Bosha Premium Couture, a fashion-based company from Lagos, has launched a project to empower IDPs by distributing free clothing over 14 days, followed by 6 months of training in tailoring and fashion design to build skills and self-reliance.
We want to empower them. So this is where we are having a challenge again. After doing the training for 6 months as we plan to do, then we'll be looking forward to empower them, because there will not be a need for training if we are not going to empower them.
As the saying goes, it is better to teach someone to fish than to give them fish. Such initiatives are seen as a sustainable step towards empowering victims of conflict and supporting the resettlement plan of the Benue State government. In Makurdi, Felicity Ndere reporting for Global Television News.
For several years, traders from northern Nigeria have traveled southwards to buy timber and other building materials. However, with the rising cost of living and inflation, the business has taken a hard hit, especially at the timber market in Nabima area of Kano. Global TV correspondent Idris Jabril reports.
For over 2 decades, Alhaji Umar Abdul Mumin has made regular trips from Kano to Calabar across River State, buying timber in commercial quantity. His business has supported his family and supplied small traders in the region. This trade is everything to me. I can only give thanks to God. I started this business from childhood. Today I am married. I have children. I was able to own a house, all with this trade. The rising cost of transportation is, however, eating deep into profits. Traders like Sanusi Adamu says prices have skyrocketed, making it difficult to sustain the business.
One cannot say this is the specific factor that causes the hiking of the materials, wooden materials or building materials, especially from the south states. A trailer is being costed up to 5 million from there down to here, Kano. You know, their own setting is not like ours. They have so many revenues. Even the rascals can even just set off their own gate and say that you must pay before you pass. That is why the wood is costlier.
Despite these challenges, the trade still supports hundreds of small-scale traders and youth in northern Nigeria. Without urgent intervention, many fear the losses will continue to rise.
If government wants this wood to go down, it has so many policies. It can go there, we used to buy it from companies. When governments introduce some policies there, which will enrich the companies, it will help us also.
Unless transportation costs drop and small businesses receive the support they need, timber traders may struggle to survive. From Kano, Idris Jubrin, Global Television News.
On the foreign scene, an additional 2,300 United States flights were cancelled as President Donald Trump threatens to dock pay for the air traffic controllers who called in sick during the government shutdown, after Trump viewed absent aviation workers as unpatriotic. The National Air Traffic Controllers Association Labor Union held members working without pay as unsung heroes in a statement that called for Congress to immediately end the shutdown. The back and forth highlights the mounting strain on the aviation industry as the record-breaking shutdown hits day 41. Though a bill of compromise in advancing Congress was raising hopes of a resolution later this week. Warnings of worsening humanitarian condition in Sudan continue despite reports of a ceasefire deal brokered by international mediators last week. United Nations Human Rights Chief Volker Turk has expressed worry that traumatized civilians are still trapped inside El Fasher and are being prevented from leaving. Uyi Agbumofwegbe brings details.
The statement comes amid mounting reports from the United Nations human rights watchdogs and other experts of widespread violence and war crimes after the city of El Fasher fell to the Rapid Support Forces (RSF) militia on 23rd October this year, which has been battling former allies turned rivals, the military government in Khartoum, for control of Sudan for over 2 years.
I think it's clear that atrocity crimes are being committed as we speak. The fact that you have a siege is already in and of itself an atrocity crime. Whether or not it qualifies for genocide is again for traditional authorities to say, but we shouldn't wait for any of this. We should act now when these horrific atrocities are being committed as we speak. I mean, there is a call for us when it comes to war crimes, crimes against humanity, to act for the international community. You don't need to wait until a court decides that it's been genocide.
Turk also stated that violence continues even for those who managed to flee the city, since exit routes have become scenes of what he called unimaginable cruelty. Uyi Agbumofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
In sports, 18 players have arrived at the Super Eagles camp in Rabat, Morocco, ahead of Nigeria's 2026 FIFA World Cup playoff clash against Gabon, scheduled for Thursday evening. The squad opened camp on Sunday, with preparations intensifying on Monday as all available players took part in the first training session under head coach Eric Chile. The federal government has reaffirmed its readiness to strengthen sports development across tertiary institutions, aligning its vision with the ongoing 27th Nigeria's University Game NOGA 2025 holding at the University of Jos. We'll bring you subsequent details of that story in our bulletin to come. As Global TV News Express comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories. On Global TV News Express, the Independent National Electoral Commission has issued certificates of return to the Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo and his deputy Onyedika Chukwu Ibezim. In business, President Bola Tinubu has assured the technical contractor handling the Presidential Power Initiative, Siemens Energy, of the government's full commitment to improving the country's electricity supply and enhancing livelihoods of its citizens. On the foreign scene, an additional 2,300 United States flights were cancelled as President Donald Trump threatens to dock pay for air traffic controllers who called in sick during the government shutdown. And in sports, 18 players arrived at the Super Eagles camp in Rabat, Morocco, ahead of Nigeria's 2026 FIFA World Cup playoff clash against Gabon, scheduled for Thursday evening. And that's it on News Express. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. I am Ubong Usoro. Bye for now.